Yes, viewers and subscribers, welcome back. Um, Final preview video of this year's African Nations Cup, Afcon 2023. Um, Before I go any further in the video, I must say thanks again for watching all the videos. For those who watch, I greatly appreciate the numbers, whether it's a huge amount of viewers or could even be 5 viewers. I greatly appreciate each and everyone that has taken time out to view the videos. Continue to like, share them as you feel, and I welcome the new subscribers. Anyways, moving on. What a tournament it has been so far. And if you have not watched any games yet, I could say shame on you, but I wouldn't say that. I would encourage you to catch the third place game between South Africa and DR Congo, and the grand finale tomorrow between Nigeria and host Ivory Coast. An eternal rivalry between these West African neighbors. Yes. Now, before I get to the finals, semifinals were exciting as the tournament has been so far. Before the tournament, I said I think it was gonna be the best Afghan, and so far it has lived up to that billing. I've heard other, I've heard journalists and analysts on TV share the same views. Friends likewise share the same views. So I think this had lived up to expectations, or surpassed expectations, as being one of, if not the best Afghan thus far. The old heads will tell you that, there were some probably back in the 80s, or even the 94 one may have been better in their view. But to me, this is the best one thus far. So, like I said, the semifinals were, excellent games. South Africa surprised me in that semifinal. They came out and took the game to Nigeria. That honestly was not expected. They looked the more compact, more organized, coordinated, the more dominant team throughout most of the game. But Nigeria, with their speed and counter-attacking ability, were able to hit them and take the lead. But then they themselves missed a few glaring opportunities and allowed South Africa back in that game. Went to penalties, as most of you already know, and the Nigerian goalkeeper flipped the script this time. His South African counterpart in their quarterfinals pulled off 4 saves, which is a record high. The Nigerian goalkeeper, he pulled off, I think, 3 saves in the semifinals. And as they eliminated South Africa. Meanwhile, in the other semis, Ivory Coast, through their talisman, Sebastian Haller, the likes of Adingra, the young kid from Brighton, who, if you haven't read up his story, I could do a video on that, but that's gonna take some time. But yeah, he has come a long way as a professional footballer. His young career thus far. They knocked off DR Congo in that semifinal and surprised everyone and made it through to the finals. Especially with the start that the Ivory Coast had. After winning their first game, they got knocked off by Nigeria. Remember, they were in the same group and they ended up finished third. They were one of the better third place team that made it through to the knockout rounds. So Ivory Coast surprised everyone, except probably themselves and their fans, or their die-hearted fans, I should say, and made it to the finals. Now, the third place game should be a really exciting one. Less pressure on both teams. You should see a more open game, especially from the DR Congo, who sometimes play a bit more on the defensive side. South Africa, we see how beautiful the football that they play. It's like you're watching a 1990s Brazilian team sometimes when you see them. So the third place game should be a really good game. The finals, though, like I said, this is a long time rivalry. And since 2002, I think, they have faced each other 8 times. One being a drawing game, Ivory Coast winning 4, Nigeria winning 3. One of those 3, like I said, the group stage game, the second game in the group stages, which Nigeria beat them. But over the years, they have had some, really good battles between both teams, and there's a lot to look forward to. We see legends from both teams, in the dressing rooms, addressing the fans after their semifinal victories. We see Kano, one of the stars of Nigerian Olympic gold medal team in '96. He was in their dressing room dancing with the players. We saw Drogba addressing the crowd, cheering them on. He is probably the biggest export from Ivory Coast, or their biggest superstar, I should say. You know, he was there, bootsing up the team as well. So lots to look forward to in this final. We have the likes of both teams have very recognizable talisman. Osimhen probably a bit more because of his current status in Europe, but Sebastian Haller um, could have been that player if it wasn't for a few setbacks. He dominated at Ajax, then had a move to no, he dominated in Germany, then had a move to West Ham, which didn't work out. Then he got a transfer to Ajax, worked out for him there. He, had a very good run in the Champions League with them, and then he got a move to Borussia Dortmund, which was cut short. At least was derailed for a while when he was diagnosed with testicular cancer back in 2022, shortly after signing for Borussia Dortmund, as a matter of fact. And there were fears that his career would have been ended. He got treatment, and within, I think, like 6 to 7 months, he was back on the field and now doing what he is really good at, scoring goals for his club and country. So he is the one to carry this Ivory Coast team. Most of them are not so big names compared to their other African counterparts. The likes of Mane, Salahs, Victor Osimhen, Iwobi, Mahrez. Just to name a few of the big names that we have seen exited the tournament so far. You know, well, not the Nigerian names that I mentioned, of course, but yes, he's still there with his team. Like I said, it's expected to be a very exciting game. And if this is the first game that you have watched all Afcon tournament, you won't be disappointed. I guarantee you that. This is a guarantee from me that this is gonna be a very exciting final. Two of the biggest names ever out of Africa. These two teams have always represented Africa well on the world stage. Whenever they make it to the World Cup, they always make a good account of themselves. So we're expecting an exciting finals. One not to be missed. So hopefully you tune in, whatever you're doing, 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. That is what? 8 Greenwich time. That is UK time. Wherever you're at in the world, make sure you tune in for Nigeria versus Ivory Coast, the host Ivory Coast, trying to win it on their turf. Stay tuned. I hope to do a video after the finals. If I don't, I will catch you soon. Track and field season begins soon. I will be dropping a video. So stay tuned. And until next time, stay safe. Like I said, continue to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.